First Book of Samuel, chapter 13, verse 12, part B, where Saul said, "So, forced by circumstances, I offered a burnt offering." This excerpt from the Bible talks about King Saul. Saul claimed that he offered burnt offerings because he was forced to by circumstances. He disobeyed an order from God and tried to justify his mistake by saying that he had been pressured by the people to offer burnt offerings on his own, when he should have waited for the prophet Samuel to do so. Since the creation of Adam and Eve, it has been like this. Adam also tried to blame Eve for eating the forbidden fruit, saying to God, as we read in Genesis 3 chapter 12, "The woman whom you gave me to wife, she gave to me from the tree, and I ate." From the beginning, in the Garden of Eden, human beings try to place the blame on something or someone else. It's curious how the human tendency is to always try to justify their mistakes, placing the blame on someone or some circumstance. For some people, it is difficult to admit that they made a mistake, so it seems easier to find a justification. An important thing to know is that it is not possible to justify a mistake, because justifying means making it fair, proving innocence. Yes, we can justify a false accusation when we are unjustly accused, but we cannot justify an error or a sin, because an error is an error and a sin is a sin. We cannot turn a sin or error into something righteous. We can be forgiven for error or sin, but not justify. There is no point in wanting to free ourselves from guilt, because, in the same way that salvation is individual through a personal decision, the mistakes we make are also completely personal, regardless of what forces us, the environment, people or conditions. If we are the type who always tries to justify mistakes, then we need to mature in a spiritual and even intellectual sense, because, as I said, mistakes cannot be justified. Let's leave pride aside. We can all admit mistakes and count on God's full forgiveness. We do not need to fear, because God is always ready to forgive. When we make mistakes and try to place the blame on another person or situation, we are only deceiving ourselves and hindering our own growth. But when we recognize our flaws, we are taking the first step towards change. If King Saul had repented before God, his life would have changed, but he did not want to act correctly. My dear friend, always remember this: God is loving enough to accept us as we are and powerful enough to change our entire situation. However, He needs to find in us a sincere, humble and honest heart. Jesus was like this at all times and in all places. He is our greatest example. Let us follow in His footsteps. I wish that God, in His immense love and kindness, grants you a wonderful day, an afternoon, a night. May you have lots of light, mental peace, tranquility, and may God give you the humility to admit your mistakes, seek help and let God's forgiveness and power manifest themselves in your life.